The Lioness, Amanda Nunes, puts her title on defense again against Irene Aldana. And AJ, I think something that we have to mention is going into this fight, the pre-fight presser, Amanda Nunes says, I really gave serious consideration about retiring. But you know what? That means I'd leave my belt with Juliana Pena. And I'd leave it with anybody but Juliana Pena. No, anybody else could have it, but she can't have it. Well, there is another person that wants it, and that's Irene Aldana. So when you have a hungry young competitor, not young, Irene Aldana I think is actually older than Amanda Nunes, but you know what I mean experience-wise, right? When you have someone hungry who hasn't tasted gold in the biggest stage of them all, and they get an opportunity where there is a win-win situation here, there's nothing to lose for her at this point. She's a replacement fighter in this bout. How does that make you feel about the current standing champion who almost has nothing left to prove?
Oh, Derek, I'll kind of answer it with the same kind of question, man. There's a reason, I guess not really a question, a statement. There's a reason why in the interviews with the prelim and Amanda Nunes, they asked about so many different female fighters going into it because it's kind of just up in shambles. It's up in air. It doesn't really give a lot of weight or gravity to the situation that's presented with those belts, man. And I'm not sure if Amanda Nunes kind of said that just as a dig because she really doesn't like Juliana Pena, or she's also trying to stir up some kind of commotion in the division so that way you can get a little more shine, get a little more money your way. I mean, I agree. No, a lot of people were thinking the retirement was coming, but I'm glad to see the Lioness back. Do you think it was all a sham, though, Derek?
I think that petty levels were off the chart. I think she was definitely trying to plug in that, like, I don't, and because she said, she was all like, yeah, man, and I'll kick Juliana Pena's ass whenever I want. I was like, she's the type of fighter that, let's say she retired and then Pena somehow got the belt, she comes out of retirement just to beat Pena and then re-retires. Like, that's the type of petty levels we got here. But I also think that there is something to the nature of Amanda Nunes has beat everybody there is to beat. What are we talking about? You know what I mean? Featherweight championship, we don't need to bring that into consideration. You beat Cyborg, you beat Holly Holm, you beat Juliana Pena, you beat Valentina Shevchenko multiple times, you beat Raquel Pennington, you beat everybody. Raquel Pennington and Aldana are like the two people right now who could vie for that belt besides Pena, and you already beat these people. So what do you have to prove? And I think that's going to be the storyline coming into this one. What she has to prove here is that she can beat an elite striker who is huge in terms of a bantamweight matchup. Last time that Amanda Nunes fought somebody really big, AJ, it was Cyborg, right? And that's 145 pounds. Now you have new stiff competition here. And my question to you is, how does a not particularly prime Amanda Nunes any longer mix into these older elder statesmen-like champions who have been getting their belts ripped away from them left and right? Valentina Shevchenko, for an example. Was she losing her fight against Grasso? No, but one mistake, and boom, that was it. What do you make of that?
Yeah, you're right, Derek. And Amanda Nunes falls into that category. Not the best, at least for me, because she already did fell into that one where she got her belt took, where she had the comeback. Not a lot of these champions, not a lot of these vets we're seeing even have the chance to come back. I mean, look at Stipe, for instance. We're all clamoring, or at least some of us are clamoring for the fight, and nowhere to be seen, man. John Jones is talking about boxing, but that's not the point over here. Amanda Nunes can beat can beat Irene Aldana just by kind of switching up, evolving the way she fought, almost how she changed in that Juliana Pena second matchup. Now, I mean, if that's how the tide turns and she does evolve even past that, I'm curious how Irene Aldana is going to hold against the strength, against the power, against the pressure, and then the switch stance, looking good, defending takedowns, the ground game. Amanda Nunes on paper is one of the most complete female fighters we've seen. It's just like you said, you get caught. One little thing, you're winning your fight the entire time. Left hook Larry comes around the corner and you're sleeping. So there's always the chance with Irene Aldana is the thing, man. She is good on the hands, good on the feet, really solid on the ground. We even saw in the Meshi Sasson fight that she had her in trouble. I mean, obviously Sasson also had Aldana in trouble, but Aldana made a very tall, very big fighter in everyone else's eyes look pretty normal. So I'm curious how Amanda Nunes is going to handle that pressure, handle that strength, handle being the smaller fighter in there. Like you said, last time was Chris Cyborg, and how long ago was that?
That was a while ago, bro. That was back in 2018, But one thing you gotta keep in mind too, man. She fought Megan Anderson and she ragdolled Megan Anderson, and she was looking up at her. You know what I mean? Putting it on her. So like, a tall, big opponent is nothing that's new territory for Amanda Nunes. I think the difference here is pure stature. not just a tall person, but a thick. Irene Aldana has not made 135 pounds proper on the scale since like 2019, right? So it's been about 4 years since she's made that proper. Missed weight against Yana Kunitskaya, now Yana Santos, right? It came in like 139 for that fight, ended up winning. That's going to be an equation here. How does Aldana look making championship weight? Not 136, 135. How does she look? But Amanda Nunes at the same time, right? Scales are going to be a problem for both of these fighters. But let's talk about X's and O's. Nunes, well-rounded, as you already mentioned, man. She can throw the big bombs. She can slug with you. But there's one thing that we have been seeing from her, especially from not the most skilled strikers recently, and she's hittable. Aldana's hittable. They're both hittable, right? But can Nunes survive the precision of Aldana? Because her boxing is it's a next level. She's not, I wouldn't say the greatest kickboxer in the world, but I think she's a very, very skilled boxer. So I think Amanda Nunes, her key to victory here on the feet is you have to fight at distance, at range, and you have to utilize that big left high kick that she has that knocked out Holly Holm. What do you think?
For Nunes, stay on the outside?
Nunes needs to stay on the outside to utilize the kicks against Aldana, or I think Aldana walks her down and just picks her apart with the boxing.
I'm a little more concerned of Aldana be able to hit her from where Nunes can't. Nunes being the kind of smaller fighter, staying on the outside, I could see the kicks. I could see that working, especially in the last Pena fight when she was able to kick the legs, sweep them out, really slow down your opponent. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that working. But I can also see the crisp jab of Aldana working really well down the middle, setting things up. But you're right, both of these fighters are hittable. So can Amanda Nunes actually get there? Yeah, I think with the outside it can happen, especially if she's crisp, sharp. My money, though, on the sharpness always, or well, at least in this fight, goes towards Aldana. I mean, Amanda Nunes a little more brawler-esque, if you will. Aldana also still got that Mexican style, still willing to sit in there and put herself in dangerous situations. Don't get me wrong, but at the start of the fight, very crisp, but very technical. I was thinking, get on the inside, control her, beat her up, put her on the mat, put her on the fence. Make Aldana fight a very close-knit fight, so that way she's kind of feels that pressure, feels smothered, if you will, and then really put her to work. I could see that working as well. What do you think?
Well, arguably, I mean, it's not. That's the thing. Aldana is so long and big in stature, but they got pretty much virtually the same reach. 68.5 for Aldana, 69 for Nunes, right? So that's why I say if you really want to have success against Aldana, you have to use the tools that are not going to be directly in Aldana's tool belt. You don't want to have a straight-up boxing contest with a crisp boxer. You want to throw in some kicks, throw in some takedowns. Here's the thing. Originally, when I saw this matchup, I thought Nunes would have a fantastic advantage on the ground. But Aldana is so sneaky on the ground. She's sneaky good. Look at what she did against Macy Chasson. Look at Yana Santos. She went straight into the guard, and instead of playing guard and just trying to hide out, long punches straight down. That's what you want. Posture up and rain down ground and pound. That's how you get your victories here in MMA. So I think what it comes down to here is that for Amanda Nunes, normally, when you could just be like, oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take her down. She took down Pena. She had success against Pena, bladed her up, right? Can she take that same approach against Aldana, or will there be consequences, I guess you could say, man? Do you think the best path for Nunes is to actually keep it on the feet, is my question to you?
No. I'm fully in the camp of get this girl against the fence, get a takedown, avoid the knees, avoid the uppercuts, because you're right. You're putting yourself in danger with playing that striking game against Aldana. She's very, very talented. So if Nunes is able to control, put the pressure, then I'm on that camp, man. But I'm always worried about those uppercuts up the middle, you keeping your head on the center line, not really shooting, the best to your abilities. Because Irene Aldana, man, as much as she, like I said before, as much as she's willing to put herself in dangerous positions, a lot of the time she gets out of those and puts you in a bad spot, gets a submission. And if it wasn't for that big kick at the end of the Macy Chasson fight, it looked like Aldana was getting working right there, So it's always up to those last little kicks or those last little hits. I don't mean to say kicks, but those hits in the fight that really changed the tide. Will Amanda Nunes be able to avoid one of those? What do you think?
I don't know, man. That's what we're going to find out. All we can do is predict. You know what I mean? You're right, though. You're right. Against that Chasson, that was a miracle. Hail Mary, weird kick to the body, and boom. You know what I mean? Interesting one. But this is going to be the final X's and O question that I have before we move on from this matchup, man. Amanda Nunes comes in as a minus 340 favorite, plus 270 comeback for Aldana. I think that's a little disrespectful to Aldana, just a touch, you know what I mean, given her skill set. Amanda Nunes is 5 for 5 in 5-round fights, like that have gone all 5 rounds in her last 10 fights, right? Irene Aldana, she has seen 1 5-round fight in her last 10 fights, and that came against Holly Holm, and she lost that fight. So when it comes down the stretch, I have 2 predictions. One prediction is I think if this is a grappling intensive fight, and Irene Aldana, every round starts on the feet, right? If she's able to survive and it gets to those championship rounds, and she's able to fend off some of these takedowns, Nunes might run into a real cardio problem, because we know she is all gas, no break, and come those later rounds, she starts to slow down. Everybody does. The thing about Aldana is we literally just don't know. We have no idea what's going to happen here. We could say the same thing for her. Do you have any prediction on that?
Especially with the weight issues. I'm curious to see when weigh-ins happen tomorrow, when or I guess today when they're watching this, folks. So that way we can see how Aldana is looking. Is the weight going to be an issue? She has, like you said, Derek, 136, no more. 135 is the mark you cannot go over. And I think Amanda Nunes will kind of play that card. Maybe, I don't know. She let it slip in the interview that she was going to fight no matter what. So maybe there might be a weight miss. You know, just title not on the line. Doesn't really matter. All the pressure's off. Who knows? But I'm interested to see that 4th and 5th round. You're right. Because we've seen Amanda Nunes do it. And when she's on her game and she's in those rounds, she's looking very sharp. What happens when you're eating 1s and 2s at range? You can't get close. You can't touch your opponent. You're bloodied up. Then Aldana's coming in with the pressure, throwing stuff down the pipe. That's an exciting fight for me. That's what I'm looking forward to. Really test each other's mettle in there, make it a scrap. Let's have some fun.
And to round out this championship bout right here, I guess it's just time to give the X's and O's, man. Not the X's and O's, the prediction from the X's and O's, right? TKO prop 150 plus 155 for Amanda Nunes, which is kind of crazy with the plus 550 comeback for Aldana. Plus 275 decision prop with a plus 750 decision prop coming back for Aldana. At the end of the day, this is my perspective on this fight. Does Amanda Nunes deserve to be favored? Absolutely. Should you automatically think, especially on paper, she'll win this fight? Absolutely. Has the guard been changing with champions recently for veteran established champions? Absolutely. So my prediction here, man, is I think the crispness and the technical precision of Irene Aldana will be too much for Amanda Nunes down the stretch. You mentioned it yourself. She gets into these kind of bully battle wars like she did with Cyborg. All Cyborg had to do was clip her one time, and the outcome could have been completely different. If she gets into that one, give me Aldana. Give me the plus 550 TKO on the great lioness Amanda Nunes. I love me some Amanda Nunes, but give me Aldana. TKO round 4. How do you see it?
Ooh, Derek, if that comes true, man, call him Mystic D over there. A better name out there, folks. Pause. But, man, that's, 550. That's a steal for Aldana, because that's the way I see it going, too. I'm curious, before I give mine, Derek, that plus 800, I see Aldana working some submissions. Do you think she's actually able to? Do you see any value in that plus 800?
I do, only in a choke scenario. There's no other scenario I see that coming in, and I do not think Amanda Nunes gets got again off of another miraculous choke.
All right, man. I agree with you, but I do like the ground game of Aldana. But I will say, man, that plus 155 TKO does look juicy on the Amanda Nunes side. I'm actually going to rock with the decision, though. Give me 5 rounds. Give me a war. I think Aldana can survive. At least when she gets in danger, she'll be able to put something up that is a little bit of opposition, you know? So give me Amanda Nunes. Give me the decision. Let's rock.
Fair play. Amanda Nunes decisioning a replacement fighter. Not going to be the best look, but hey, a win is a win is a win, especially when the belt is on the line.